Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back. So this is my day three on this course, Deep Learning for Coders, and in lesson three. I'll go through this lecture and let you know about it. So uh, I'll be working with Jeremy along with him to make my personal project or something like that. You can say uh, to solve this problem. So I'm pretty excited about this. He'll be solving with black bear, teddy bear, and grizzly bear, and I'll be trying to do the same things, but with this one. So let's see if I can do this. And if I can do this, that's pretty cool stuff, right? That's actually right out of the bat. So I'll try to do this and share with you if I could do this or not. Let's see. And actually, if you want to get a bit more about PyTorch, you can go through this tutorial. This is a very nice and concise tutorial and very well written. I like this. And also, you can check out this guy. He has a study group uh, which actually goes through fastai, and his main goal is to make fastai more accessible. So I think you should go through uh, these videos. So let's start with today's lesson. See you again in the middle of the lecture. Hello again, everyone. So I'm halfway through lesson three, at the point where Jeremy actually finished chapter two of the book, and I will show what I have done with the project I was talking about in the next video, because I think we have many things to say for this particular lesson. So I'm already halfway through, and there are so many things to look back, so many things that he covered. So let me summarize those things. And before that, you guys can go check out Rachel Thomas and her YouTube channel, because she actually is one of the pioneers of data ethics. So what actually is that? I'll talk about that in a moment. I'll also link all the descriptions here in the comment section. Sorry, in the description box. And here is something that Jeremy suggested, is that we should start writing. I mean, we should start writing the blogs. So what he says is that we are better suited for someone who's one step behind us. We don't need to think about impressing Jeff Hinton with everything we are doing. So let's think it like that. And he actually did something. He and another guy named Hamid Hussain. So they built something called fast pages, which can actually uh, turn your Jupyter notebooks into blogs. And I think I'll try this out. Okay, let me be honest about something here. So one of the reasons why I started making videos in this channel is to share the things I learned on the way. And actually, I think what I learned on the way, uh, the moment when I'm learning things, I can share the things better with everyone. So that was one of the reason I started making these videos of walkthroughs and the things I learned. So, and I was actually more inspired when Jeremy said that we should start writing, get blogging things. Uh, yeah, and actually, I'll also try this, and I'll also try to write blogs. Let's see how much I can do. Uh, you guys also can share your blogs and things with me and here or with the community. Let's see. So let me give a quick look back to what are the things that we covered. So first there was resizing images. So why do you need resizing the images? Because the things, uh, the images we get, the images we collect might not be the of same shape. I mean, there can be different types of shape. So, but they are actually not this type of things are not suitable for our computations. We need same type of things. So that's also necessary for GPU computations. GPU actually takes a whole batch of things and processes them uh, parallelly. So uh, this was one of the things, and another thing was data augmentation. So why is it necessary? Data augmentation is necessary for handling the overfitting. So there are many ways of data augmentation in images, like flipping vertically, changing the brightness, and many other things. Jeremy actually talks about that, and I'll talk about what fastai offers here. So, and there is another thing is data cleaning. So it might happen that whatever data we collected are not clean. Clean means we are training with something that's not black bear, but that we are saying that it is a black bear. Okay, so uh, data cleaning is one of the necessary things to check if we are doing the things right or wrong. And uh, there is another important thing most of us actually don't focus. It's deploying model. So there are some of the people that I found that they think that deploying model is some type of show off and they don't want to do it. So even if you don't want to show off, I think you should think about deploying models, because that's actually you are bringing your things to life. That's a cool thing to do, right? Okay. What I'm saying is because uh, I was also like that. I think that no, I don't want to show off with my models. So actually, if you were like me, you should change your mind, because uh, this thing is actually necessary. So another other things. Okay, I'll come here later. Let me show you some cool things about FastAI. So there is one thing that Jeremy showed, that FastAI provides augmentation process batch transforms, and we can do augmentation in GPU. That's actually a very cool thing, because augmentation process takes a lot of time. And if we can do this in GPU parallelly, that's awesome. Okay. Can we maintain that the uh, augmentation process is only in staging set, not in validation set? So what Jeremy says is that a FastAI library performs augmentation only in train set by default. That was actually pretty awesome thing. Another thing is that here is the data cleaning thing. So we can basically do data cleaning very easily with a GUI that Jeremy created. Jeremy and his FastAI created. Yeah, I think you have already seen that in the lesson. So another thing is that FastAI is implemented on notebook. So if we want, we can actually look through them very easily. So and this is actually very cool stuff. Some of the people out there think that doing in Jupyter notebooks is not like very productive. So it's productive, right? And the fastest library, the coolest machine learning library or framework, what you can say. FastAI is more like not framework, API. So the coolest one is actually built on notebooks. Okay, so that's cool. And another thing is, yeah, Jeremy actually talks about a very important thing, model bias. I actually like this part a lot, because there are many things like trustworthy machine learning, if we can actually trust the models. So there are things like data ethics. So what are data ethics? Like if we are doing the things right or wrong. So actually, what I am saying right now is from a layman view. Uh, you can get a better view from the courses by Rachel, and the data ethics have been a hot topic in 2020. What I have seen in Twitter. Uh, so again, I am very noob at this thing. So what I can get is that we face the model bias. So what is the model bias? So our training data holds a different type of mix. I mean, so what due to model bias, we also have some issues with data ethics. Like we are collecting things from one side, and uh, we have to keep in mind that whatever model we are training is actually dependent on our data, what data we are providing. So if you are not ethical about that data, if you are not diverse about that data, then we might face many issues. Okay. So, and last but not least, there is this fast pages thing. You should also start blogging. I plan on starting blogging. I actually didn't start up until now because I'm a bit lazy, and uh, I think now we can do that very easily using fast pages, and that's actually a cool thing. I will share the link in the description box. You can check that here. Okay. Now let's move on to the next part. Okay, I think I'll move. I'll check out the next part in the next day, but it will be in the same video. See you tomorrow or today. So hello again. Uh, I'm done with lecture 3. So actually in the last portion of the lecture, he covered like the chapter 4 of first book. So there are some interesting things that he covered or he talked about that I found interesting. One thing was the fast code. Fast code is something developed by uh, fastai. Okay, and there is another thing I must say. So I actually kept the notes uh, with me, and I'll actually share them with you, and you'll find the description. I mean, in the link in the description box. So what actually Fastcode does is that it doesn't come directly from PyTorch pandas, but it does some of the pretty cool things. And there is another thing, NVDev, it's notebook development. So he didn't talk about it much, but it is something like converting the notebooks into Python scripts so that we can use them for development. And another important thing that he discussed was the baseline. So uh, what Jeremy was saying is that most of the deep learning practitioners fail to do is to create the baseline. The baseline is actually necessary to check out how our fancy models work. I mean, how well they work than the general ones. Okay, and as for example, like you have a very large model and it gives like 85% accuracy, but uh, there can be something like simple like KNN or not KNN, like averaging the things, then that actually gives like 90% accuracy. So your fancy model is not working better. Okay, so and there's another thing. Uh, the most important thing he discussed is the stochastic gradient descent part. Okay, so uh, here are seven steps that he discussed. First step was to initialize the weights. So initialization is actually an active research even now. If you know, uh, there are many ways of initialization, and uh, from after initializing the weights, we actually use the weights to predict what our sample is, or if we think about classification, then what our sample is, and we predict for each sample and actually calculate a loss. So the loss is something like how close is it to the actual one, and after calculating the loss, we actually calculate the gradients. So calculating gradients in PyTorch, there is something called backwards. Uh, there we showed that, and also it's actually the uh, main attraction of PyTorch that they actually calculates the gradients automatically. That's pretty cool stuff. We don't need to worry about that anymore. And also, after calculating the gradient, we use a learning rate to do some optimization step. And uh, here's something that we actually do this part a lot of time. And uh, this part is actually what our training is. The other parts, the later parts, are not like training. So, what in most of the neural networks, what we do for training is this portion. Okay, we keep calculating the things and until we get some good, I mean, low loss. So low loss is what can I say about low loss? Low loss is something that the predictions are pretty close to the actual ones. So here's the thing that we have to do that on validation script. Okay, we shouldn't do that on training script. Okay? And when we are satisfied with all these things, we will stop. So there are many other things. There are many things in this lecture, and I will actually work on the web project and other pretty cool things. And later, I will actually jump to the next lecture, and also I will try to read through the books before getting to the next chapter. I mean the chapters he covered, and this in this lesson, I mean the later part of the lesson, he actually covered chapter 4. Okay, I'll show you what I do for the web project and how I do it. Uh, let's see. And actually, uh, let's see what happens in this time. Keep learning.